So you may have heard by now, we decided to make a switch at quarterback. So I talked to Andy this morning. I let him know, and talked to Ryan Finley and let him know he'll be starting against Baltimore. Not an easy decision to make, very hard. Andy and I have had a lot of conversations over the last couple of weeks, not about this, but just trying to make this offense get going and this team get going, and he's put his heart and soul into getting this thing right. And the hard thing now is when you're 0-8 and you make a quarterback switch, people tend to look at the quarterback and say he was the problem, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. He's done a lot of things to keep us going here, and he's invested a lot of time and effort and energy into getting us a win, and it hasn't happened. It's unfortunate because he's represented this franchise the right way over the last 9 years, and he's been everything you would have asked in that regard. And so, again, not an easy day, not an easy conversation, but it was my decision, and we're going to start Ryan and move forward with it. And, our objective now is to go win this next game and win as many as we can after that. And that's...
I'm sorry. With Ryan, it's not just one game. I mean, you're saying you're making a change?
Correct. Yes. It's you never want to put a timetable on these type of things, but we need to see a rookie. It takes more than one game to figure out what you got there, and so we're going to give him a chance to prove that.
What went into your decision to get going?
Well, it's the bye week, and so now you get a chance. If you're going to make that decision, you give Ryan a little bit more time to grasp it and get ready for the next opponent. I don't think there's ever a good time. Again, we want to win the next 8 games, and Andy would give us a chance to do that. But I just felt like now is the time. If you're going to do it, let's go ahead and make the switch and get behind Ryan and try to go in these next couple games.
So you look for a spark, and that's the most logical place to get a spark.
It's just what happens. It's everybody else plays that's on our roster. It's the only position really where there's a guy that's sitting on the bench, and you don't completely know what you have until you see it. And so that's where we're at right now.
There are a lot of veterans on offense that have played winning games with Andy. What do you say to them, and how do you make sure that they're on that page?
Correct. I wouldn't addressed it by position group today to make sure, because there are a lot of guys that have played a lot of games and won a lot of games with Andy. And, again, they understand that this is not an easy decision and that we're not 0-8 because of Andy. Andy's worked harder than anyone else in this building to help us win football games. And just a decision I made, and I wanted to make sure everyone heard it from me before they heard it from anybody else. There really was no comment necessary. I just wanted them to hear it from me.
Did you hear any negative reaction when you went around the room from guys, or did that cause any?
No, it was just me really making a statement. It's hard for guys to hear because they're close with Andy. Some guys have played with Andy for a long time. And I think that they respect the decision. But the guys support Andy. Andy's been a great representative, like I said. He's been awesome in the locker room. He's still going to be a great leader for us. And, it's just letting people soak in the information.
In particular, he came in with AJ.
Right.
That conversation, what was that one like with him? A guy who's played his whole career and every catch pretty much has been from home.
That's right. And I talked to AJ one-on-one about it. He's one of the few guys that I wanted to tell in person. And I think he understands the position we're in and the decision we made. I don't really ask necessarily if people agree with it or not. I think they just understand that they respect my decision. And they're still there to support Andy, and they're still there to rally behind Ryan. And let's go win as many games as we can.
Do you get the sense that it would affect AJ's timetable at all?
I don't. No, I don't. I really don't. AJ, I've had a lot of conversations with AJ. He's doing everything he can to get back sooner rather than later. And so, we can't wait to see where he's at tomorrow and this next week and see if we can get him on the field against Baltimore. But I know that he's progressing in that right way, and he wants to get on the field as soon as he can.
Do you think that change at quarterback changes AJ's want to be?
I do not. He's been motivated every single week since the injury occurred, and not for 1 second has anyone in this building ever doubted that there's any other motivation there. He has been hungry. You can see it in his eyes. He's one of the greatest people you're around in this league. To be fortunate to be around a pro like that who's about the right things. AJ's about the right things, and he's been doing everything he can every day to get back as quickly as possible. And we'll make sure that when he's healthy, he's back on the field.
Did you get any offers for Andy?
I don't want to talk about any trade speculation today. To be quite honest with you, I won't have any comment on that.
So are y'all making? Well, the deadline's at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm not going to have any comment on any trade speculation.
When you talked with Andy, how did that go? You said it was a tough day.
It is a hard thing. It's hard to hear if you're him. Again, he's a professional. He and I have a great relationship. We've met after games in my office. We've met on, he's in more than anybody else. And, we've done everything we can to get on the same page throughout. And so he and I have had a lot of heart-to-heart conversations. So this one was hard. This is not easy. He took it like a professional. But again, it's not easy to hear. But again, he'll be back tomorrow, and we're ready to start practice. And he'll be the backup, and he'll be helping Ryan in any way, and he'll still be a leader for us. And he's about the right stuff, and so I know that he'll still help us win football games.
Well, does this signal the end for Andy, or is it one of those situations where you got to see what Ryan can do? But if Ryan stumbles, sometimes you just need time away and look at it from a different perspective, and you might go back to Andy. I mean, I know all these things are possibilities that you haven't really thought all the way through yet. You don't know yet, but where does Andy Dalton stand right now with the franchise?
I don't want to speculate about the future right now. I just know that we need to see what Ryan Finley can do and what he can provide for us. And again, since we drafted him, he's shown well in training camp. His opportunities in the preseason games were very impressive. And so we felt like there's a talent there, and you don't know what you got until you see it live. And so that's where we're at right now, and we'll give him an opportunity to showcase what he can do. And with any rookie quarterback, there's ups and downs. We understand that. But we're going to give him an opportunity to show us what he can do.
How did Finley take the news when he sat down and talked to him one-on-one?
Well, he's a competitor. I think, number one, he feels bad for Andy because he understands what he's meant to this city and this franchise for a long time, and they're friends, and they've helped each other throughout this season. And so, number one, he's got that compassion. But number two, he's a competitor. And so he's thankful that we trust him in this situation to give him an opportunity. And I trust that he's going to make the most out of it.
Do you feel like, you in the front office feel like there's enough talent on this team to be competitive in 2020?
I don't want to speculate about 2020. We're trying to win games right now. And we feel like there's been enough talent to win some of the games that we've lost. And just for a number of reasons, we haven't done that. But I do feel like this game could have gone differently to this point. And that's what makes this hard, is because I know that, Andy knows that, it could have gone differently, and we could be fighting for more to this season right now, but we're not. So we're just, our focus right now is winning the next game and then winning as many as we can after that. But, I don't want to talk about next year.
You said you made the decision.
Mm-hmm.
Did you reach that conclusion, after the plane at 4 a.m. when you landed? When did you come up with that decision?
After the game. I spent a lot of time the last 2 days. We do talk about it as a staff. But ultimately it's my decision. I'm the one that brought it up, and I'm the one that felt we needed the change.
Having played the position, the quarterback position, and knowing it intimately, as you do, does that even make it tougher to make it a move like this?
It does, because again, you watch the guy and he does really good things for us. And so it's easy for, when you lose football games, everyone say you need to make a change at quarterback. And that's not always the case. Andy could have started the remainder of the season and won a lot of football games for us. But we're just at this halfway point. It's the bye week. We're 0-8. Felt like we needed to see what Ryan Finley could do for us. But it is. It is hard having played the position, knowing that you're always the guy that gets the finger pointed at you when it's not always your fault. But again, he's a professional, and he takes ownership, and just like a captain would, just like a leader would, so that part's hard.
One of the strengths is the mental part of it. He can handle mass volume of football. Is Ryan in that? Do you have to tailor your offense to Ryan now, or is Ryan capable of handling it all mentally?
Ryan has put in a lot of extra time in these first 8 weeks, like any backup quarterback should have done at that point, to make sure, because you always know you're one play away. Everything I've seen from Ryan shows us that he's capable of handling it. Again, you got to get in some games against some starting defenses to really know what you got there, and that's what we'll find out. But again, everything that we've seen from him in the meeting rooms and in training camp and the offseason shows us that, and all the things that led to us to draft him in the pre-draft process. This was a guy that we really liked and identified as someone that we needed in our program. So he's shown us everything that we needed to trust that he can help us get going.
Zach, when you took this job, did you did you anticipate it being a rebuilding process, or did you feel like this roster was built to win?
No, I felt like we could go win, and that's what I talked to Andy about. Is I didn't envision being in this position in April when we started OTAs. I thought that we'd be obviously winning a lot more games right now and be competitive, and unfortunately, that just hasn't been how it's happened for a lot of reasons. We all got to take accountability for it. It's not a coach's fault. It's not a player's fault. It's all of us. We all got to be better, and that's what's led us to this point.
That being said, do you feel like now you are in a rebuilding mode with Ryan?
We need to win as many games as we can this season. There's no thought to let's build for next year. It is we need to win football games and create some momentum here, and so that starts with however many days from now playing against Baltimore. We got to put our best foot forward and do everything we can to win that football game.
Even at the risk of potentially
Yes.
draft pick or
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Andy said after the game in London that he was talking about plays where he just felt like not unsure of feeling like he had to get rid of it early because felt like there maybe was pressure coming even if it wasn't and things like that. How much did you feel like some of the issues with the line and being sacked as much as he was played into him kind of losing a little bit of the efficiency that you've seen from him in previous years?
I think it falls on everybody on offense. We're all accountable. Linemen, tight ends, running backs, receivers. We're all in it together. And so when we're not playing up to par, we're not scoring as many points, we're not as explosive as we need to be. It's hard to just point at one person or one group. It's everybody in it together. And when you look back at that game, you can look at every position and say, hey, you guys should have done this better. You should have done this better. Should call better plays. It's everybody, And so obviously there's frustration when you're not winning, and it's. But ultimately, we all have to take accountability for it.
Do you feel like the line play had kind of gotten to him a little bit, though, over the course of the season? Kind of, maybe even if it's just gradually, it builds on it a little bit?
That's hard to say because we just faced a really good defensive line, and I thought our offensive line they did some good things. There were some times when John Jerry was matched up with Aaron Donald one-on-one and did a heck of a job. That defensive line has made some offensive lines look really bad in the first 7 weeks, and our guys did a good job on the run game. They got a couple sacks. They did. But there were also some instances where our guys really fought like crazy and did a nice job holding up and giving Aiden some protection. So, but again, it all works together there.
Was there any thought, with today being the deadline, of maybe amassing picks for next year? I mean, was that how intense was that conversation, if at all, before this afternoon?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm just going to leave no comment on the trade stuff and the draft picks right now.
Zach, earlier this week, there was a report that an NFL GM quoted the Bengals as not being the team that's interested in trading. You shouldn't waste your time calling this organization. What would be your response to that?
I don't believe that, but I don't have much to comment on that.
A decision like this, just probably doesn't happen on your flight back from London. Were there times during the course of the season you contemplated this and then thinking the bye week might be the best time to do it? Or
No, I think our focus every week is so you got to use every second of every week to get ready for your opponent. We felt like we've, especially from an offensive standpoint, facing some pretty good defenses lately. And so you're just trying to focus on winning that game, especially this last week. It was kind of an awkward week. And so you're kind of playing catch up all week to make sure you got the plan in place. There was no thought that, hey, at any point in that time, are we going to switch quarterbacks? It was, you get a chance to have the flight home. You get a chance yesterday to reflect on where the season's going at this point and what we need to do to be successful. And it was just the decision that I reached.
what do you think Finley gives you? Does it give you more mobility? I mean, I guess you don't know, but what do you contemplate? What in your head do you think Finley might be able to give you?
Well, sometimes you're not entirely sure. Sometimes it's just a spark. And again, we're playing everybody on offense. Everybody has played in a game except for Ryan Finley, to be honest with you. And you hate to use the word spark because Andy does some great things to put us in position to score points and win games. And it's just going to be a different guy back there. So we'll see what he provides to us. We'll find out next Sunday when we're playing against Baltimore, because we saw in the preseason he had some really good preseason drives, some really good games that let you know that you got a really good player there. But again, he's playing against backups for the most part. And so until you see him live against starters, you really don't know what you got. But again, everything that led us to draft him, watching his college tape, from meeting with him to being in meetings with him to watching him in the preseason, led us to believe that we got a good player. Now we just got to see him against some starting defenses.
Are there any specific attributes that you saw from him? I mean, in preseason, it looked like he was an accurate thrower.
Correct. Yeah, I think he's got great touch on the ball. He can anticipate where it needs to go. He does a good job climbing in the pocket and buying some time, and so we'll just see how all that translates into playing real life football here in the NFL.
When a guy like Minshew plays like he's playing, does that make the decision like more intriguing? I mean, a guy who you don't really know until, that was because of injury, but young quarterbacks here recently have stepped up and done some good things for teams.
I wouldn't say that we look around at the other young quarterbacks that are playing. Obviously, there are guys having success, but that really didn't factor into anything that we're doing here. You know, we just felt like it's time to make a change, and we've got faith in what Ryan can do for us.
I know you don't want to talk about the deadline, but with that being said, do you feel like this organization evaluates outside talent? Is that just an off-season idea, where it's not something that's done throughout the season if you guys aren't active at the deadline?
No, I think our personnel department does an outstanding job. You know, we discuss things with them daily. You know, I've got a lot of faith in that department, and I think they leave no stone unturned into making us a better football team. And so, no, I wouldn't agree with that.
Do you worry about a move like this eroding some of the culture that you've been so focused on creating around here and the possible ripple effect of that?
I think that the players will respect the decision I made, and they know that this didn't come easily. They know what our relationship is with Andy, and that we've done everything we can to win football games, and it just hasn't happened. And so we just felt like a change was needed. But certainly, Andy's been here 9 years. There's a lot of players who have been here several years that are close with Andy, and I would expect them to have some support for him. But at the same time, I know that we've got the right people in this locker room that will rally behind Ryan and give him the support and do everything they can to try to win the rest of these games. And at the same time, understanding that Andy's still there to support us and be a captain and do all the things to help us win football games. And that's what speaks to the culture, is that we got the right people in here, and this thing's not going to fall apart over one decision because we've got the right guys in the locker room that will understand it and keep fighting and try to make things head in the right direction.
You mentioned everybody's played except for Ryan Finley.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest move you can make, is you're making the biggest move you can make right now. I mean, it's a gutsy move. You know, did you sleep well through
No.
the process?
No,
Right.
no. It's hard. It's not an easy decision when a guy's given it all for 9 years. He hasn't really had one misstep the entire way. He's represented this team the right way, and you know, it's very easy when things aren't going well that people turn on the quarterback. But I've been the opposite. You know, I'll still be his biggest fan. You know, I'm glad we have him because he's done everything the right way. He's called me in the middle of the night. He's come up to my office after games. You know, I respect the hell out of the guy. He's represented himself and the organization the right way. I've followed him for a really long time. Always had all the respect in the world for him and JJ. He's done it the right way, and so it is unfortunate that it's gone this way because he certainly deserves better. You know, that's the hard part, is you wanted to win games with him, and you know, we plan on getting that next win, and you know, we're hoping it's with Ryan Finley back there, but you do wish that we had done better for him.
Is there any reasoning for announcing it today instead of waiting maybe tomorrow until before you actually come back and prep for game week?
Well, we have practice tomorrow, and so I want to make sure Ryan got those reps. If we're going to make this decision, let's go ahead and make it. Let's not wait, you know, and let's not go through meetings and knowing that this is likely going to happen. And so there's certainly that thought as we talked about as coaches, and ultimately my decision was let's just go ahead and get it done with. And obviously people will lead to speculation with the trade and all that stuff. No, it was a matter of, we had the players in the building today. We were going to have meetings. We're going to have practice tomorrow. I wanted to make sure everybody knew before we got going.
So when did you first raise it with the staff? Was it
Today.
it was today?
Jack, how much is it, it's 0-8? Is that all of it?
Say that again.
The decision, how much of it is being 0-8?
A lot of it, you know, quite frankly. If we had won more games and we were in position to do the things with Andy leading us, then we'd continue that way. But at 0-8, it's just a chance to see what we have in our backup quarterback. Again, we still intend to go win every single football game. That's what we're planning on doing. So that doesn't change our approach in any way. It was just the change that we decided to make this week.
So springing it on the Ravens, there's 2 weeks. You're going to be working with the number ones. It's hard to keep it quiet for a 2-week period where you could spring it on the Ravens that Ryan Finley was a quarterback instead of.
Yeah, but I also know that they're not thinking about us this week. You know, they got bigger problems on their hands this week with the Patriots. So, you know, that part of it, you know, there's that gamesmanship that's involved. But at the same time, we got to be true to our players and our team, and they need to know where we stand with everything. And so it's most important to address it in our locker room. And if they find out about it, so be it.
Is it a hard sell? You know, you're saying we're going to go out and win games. Is that a hard sell to the guys where it's a rookie quarterback?
Well, I mean, I think we all know that we've been in these games and we haven't made the play that wins it for us, but there's been plays to be made. And so I think they believe in all the players in our football team, regardless of who the quarterback is. They've seen Ryan Finley perform. They know that we have a good player there. Again, they know as much as I do right now. We've never seen him live and in person against a number one defense, but I think the players all believe that we can win, and they'll rally behind Ryan. They've seen him perform well over the last 6 months, and so I don't think that'll be an issue at all.
How much is Ryan's maturity in terms of the amount of football he played at
Yep.
the collegiate level? How much of a factor is in that? He's a little bit older, he's more mature, he's had a lot of snaps. Is that a factor in the decision?
That was a factor in drafting him for certain. His playing experience, he'd done it for a long time. He's played a lot of games, got a lot of reps against good defenses, and that does carry over in a positive way to his time so far in the NFL because he is an experienced quarterback in that sense. And so, we're confident that he'll be able to play well for us going forward.
Just a couple more. I think last week you told us, or maybe the week before, that you guys would just listen to anything when it came to trades. Are you guys still listening with an hour left?
I really don't have any more comments on the trade deadline.
We'll try this route. Do you see merit, though, in accumulating picks and maybe making a turn? You're making a turn with a veteran quarterback. Maybe you can make some turns at some other positions.
Our focus right now is we're going to get healthier after this bye. We get some players that are coming back, and we need to create some momentum as the season continues to go. We got 4 divisional games left, so there's a lot of ways that we can create some momentum and get going here. And it starts with Baltimore here in 2 weeks, but that's our focus right now.
What were the conversations with Duke like leading into the, what are his thoughts on, what's the feeling that you got about the way of, the way the franchise is going towards the last 8 games of the year?
We talk, but I'll keep those private.
I'm sorry, just
Last one.
Just as far as creating momentum with, whatever short-term goals you guys have this season, what are you creating momentum toward?
Well, we came here to win football games this season in 2019, and so I'm not giving up on the season. I have no idea what our potential playoff scenarios are. I don't really care at this point. We just want to get that first win and create some momentum because that goes a long way in this culture that we're building. And there's a lot of guys in the locker room that are going to be here for years to come. And so we need to make that progress so that they see that all this hard work that we've put in is going towards something. It's not going towards just 2020. It's going towards winning as many games this year as we can because that's why we play. That's why coaches and play. That's why we're here. We're here to win games now, not in the future necessarily. We come here to win now. And so that's what we're putting all this our hard work and effort into is winning as many games as we can in 2019.